Well, hey everyone, welcome back to Kitchen Table TCG. My name is Louie, and I am joined by a much more handsome. They make him handsome in Europe. But I'm joined by Alex from Fabled Academy over on YouTube. Alex, how are you, my friend?
Yeah, Louis, thank you so much for having me on your channel. As you said, I'm Alex from Fabled Academy. I'm located in Germany right now, so it is a little bit after 10 p.m. here in Germany. And yeah, I'm just so stoked to talk about everything Proto New Jersey today with you, and yeah, chatting about all the experiences.
So all the way from Germany, and right now it is 4 p.m. my time, and I believe it is 10 p.m. your time, and the world's still going. So I know I got another 6 hours, right? Like we're good. We're good for at least 6 more hours.
Yeah, that's right. So I will go to sleep soon, and you will continue your day.
Yeah, I'll start making food for my kids. So, all right. So you just got back from Pro Tour. So we're going to talk about Pro Tour. We're going to talk about your travel experience and just kind of give us that thing. We're going to talk about your absolutely amazing YouTube channel, and we're going to talk about European, game stores, the environment, and what it's like in Europe. Now, did you actually get to go to a game store in the United States?
Actually not. We were so busy doing all the videos and so on that we had actually not one game of Flesh and Blood. So my girlfriend and we were traveling to New Jersey for producing videos for the channel.
Yeah.
And it was like 24 hours productions. So yeah.
Yeah. That was my experience in Vegas. It was like, I want to sit down and play Fab, but my main goal in life is to be a content creator. And I got some pushback for that. Like I got people were like, they're expecting me to play. And I was like, no, I got to do content. And I know I felt bad about it, but then I was like, no, this is my role. I was bummed that I couldn't make it. Man, it was really cool seeing everybody hanging out there, and I would have loved to have been there, but I want to hear your experience. So tell me, what was your travel like all the way from Germany to the great city of New Jersey in the United States?
Yeah, so at first, I'm not kind of that much into travel before the YouTube channel. So of course we had these years of lockdown and with the COVID and everything. So traveling was pretty much restricted for us here. But also before COVID, I wasn't really the guy that did that much travel. So I only flew one time in my life before the Pro Tour New Jersey. So flying over is an experience in itself for me. So it was like a 12 to 13 hour travel from Germany up to New York. Wow. And planning everything ahead was really an adventure in itself. Getting all
you gained 6 hours. So what time did you leave Germany time?
Yeah, so we left Germany really early in the morning. So we woke up at 4 a.m. and then packed the last stuff together. And the father of my girlfriend, Leah, he drove us to the airport in Düsseldorf, and then we flew 1 hour to Munich over, and then we landed in Newark in New Jersey at about 12 a.m. New York time. So right in the middle of the day.
So it would be 12 p.m. then, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So right around noon. So that you have a full day, and for you it's like 8 o'clock. It feels like it's 8 o'clock. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fun. So cool. So tell me a little bit about Leah. Had she played Flesh and Blood? Was she I know you guys have the channels together, but was that like a cool experience for her to kind of be around all the people? Tell me a little bit about that dynamic.
Yeah, so actually it was really exciting for her to join the trip, because it's also not only production, of course, it's also we have a little bit of holiday time together.
Yeah.
Of course, New Jersey was really busy, so we hadn't had much time on personal side, but that was something really big she was looking forward to, besides the Flesh and Blood tournament. But she is playing, so we joined a little bit more games before New Jersey to actually prepare a little bit more, because initially we thought she would be playing and I would be filming everything. But then actually it turned out that she supported me all the way down. So I'm really happy about that and thankful that I have a girlfriend who's doing this, because flying to New York and then always filming all day and that's a really big thing, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, was this both of your guys' first time in the United States, or had you said you had flown once that wasn't to USA?
Yeah, right. So
Okay.
I only flew like to a 2-hour flight. That was my first flight. And Leah was actually in Canada before, but not
Gotcha.
in the United States. So she
Hmm.
had a little bit of experience with flying.
Yeah. Cool. All right. So you get there. Like, walk me through. I missed it. Like, I didn't get to experience it. So give me and anybody else who didn't get the full. You walk through the doors, and what hits you? What's like the first overwhelming? You've just flown 8 hours. You're exhausted, but you walk in to the Pro Tour, and what is it about it that hits you?
Yeah. So we came to New Jersey on Monday, so a couple of days before the event happened, because initially also we thought like, okay, maybe we have a jet lag or something is happening that we have not planned for. So we wanted to have some days in advance before the event happens, not only to have like little bit of rest, but also to produce videos before the event happens. So
Hmm.
we met a lot of people before Thursday, where the players banquet happens. We had interviews, for example, with Federico Musetti or with Fluke and Box and Tall Timmy. We also met Fabled Hunters with Saint, and like so much people that we haven't met before, and it was
Right.
so inviting. So I think like that was the first impression I had when I was in New Jersey. Not only the Flesh and Blood community, but also our Airbnb host. He was like really amazing, providing us with help, local tips for location scouting and everything. Because you need to mention, like, we live in a little city here in Germany, and then of course I have worked in bigger cities in Germany like Berlin or Hamburg, or we were in Paris for the Pro Quest. But man, New York is a different ground.
Yeah. I
And
haven't
like,
I haven't even spent any time in New York, and I live 6-hour drive from it. That's probably true. So that's crazy. So cool. So what videos that you were just talking about, right? You talked about getting together with all those people. What videos are already out from that, or is that content to happen on your channel?
yeah, so all the videos that we filmed before the event are actually in the editing process at the moment. So as I did the trip, I had like a rough schedule of what I want to produce. I made a concept and everything, but I didn't knew like exactly, okay, it will be like 10 videos in the end or something. And it turned out like this week was so packed with moments and also with opportunities that happened on the fly, and I tried to catch everything. So when an opportunity came for a new video, I just grabbed it and produced it. We filmed everything, we scheduled it on the fly. So we have like 20 videos in the pipeline that are coming out, and we need to make sure everything is like in a really nice flow.
Yeah, let me just pause us right now. I'm gonna cut to the intro clip to one of your interviews with Pablo Pintor. I don't know, the champion, the New Jersey
Yes.
champion. I want to show my viewers the quality of videos that you're producing on Fabled Academy, and then we'll pick back up and we'll talk about the quality of the videos here in a second. So
All right.
let me pop that in, and we'll show everybody those things.
I'm Pablo Pintor. I came from Spain, from a little town in Madrid called Aranjuez, and I have won the first Pro Tour of the Flesh and Blood organized play, and I'm feeling incredible right now. Like, I still cannot fully realize what I have achieved, I believe. Like, I'm incredibly happy, but I still cannot process all of that's happening to me right now. So yeah, I'm incredibly happy and grateful. I had a pretty rough start at the tournament. I lost my first two
All right.
rounds.
I don't want people to
had
watch
one
all of
loss.
it here. I want them to go click it and watch it. So I'll leave the link to that video in the comment section of the videos here. But Alex, you produce, I would say, the top quality video content for Flesh and Blood in terms of like the quality of the content and the editing work, and it's incredible. Props to you. I did full-time videography for a long time. I know how much, if nobody's ever heard this, for every for every minute of edited video that you see, not on my channel, but like when you see a video like that that's like put together and edited, for every minute, between 2 and 3 hours of editing goes into creating every minute of like YouTube edited video like that. And so like I know the amount of work that goes into producing a video like that. So mad props to you. I'm very curious, just for myself, this is a selfish question, not really for the viewers, but what's your background? How, like, where did that come from? Where did that skill set come from?
Yeah, so yeah, thank you, man, so much for your words. Like, I really appreciate that, because I wanted to have this in mind when I put out the videos. I really wanted to be in a niche where I can show like what my skills are and what I envision like these cinematic videos for Flesh and Blood to be like. And I come from a filmmaking background, so I have a bachelor in communication design, and I also worked for video and photo work and as a freelancer for a couple of years. And then I also work with agencies and with smaller and bigger companies here in Germany. So that is like my working background, my profession. I not work full time in filmmaking right now, but I enjoy YouTube and this filmmaking so much. Like that's why I also want to take it a step further, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I'm personally jealous of the content that you produce. I wish I had the time frame to like organize like that. I just, on my channel, I just can't do it. Like I just can't get into, I can't get we did it a little bit with the lore book stuff. Like I did some of like the more heavier editing, and I've got the vlogs, like I do the travel vlogs when I go to the events and stuff, but I want to do that daily. That's like the goal of my ultimate life. I just can't do it. So I'm very jealous from a content creator perspective, and somebody who likes to create. I'm jealous of the content that you're making. It's really good, man. And that's a good jealous for everyone who's like, Louis, you just put out a video about not comparing yourself to others. I'm working on it. Okay, people, I'm working on it. It's hard. Whenever a content creator sees something like that, it's just, man, good work. So dude, great work. And everybody go subscribe there. Make sure you guys leave the comment. We are going to do a giveaway and stuff later. We'll save the giveaway for later, but we're gonna get you to go over there and like it. So tell me more about it. So you walk in and everybody's there, and you said it was a lot of fun, kind of pre actual event to meet everyone. When the event's going on, what's the feeling in the room, and what's the conversations happening in between rounds? What's kind of the environment like over at the Pro Tour?
Man, like Pro Tour was like, I kind of have like two feelings that I come back to every time I think about the Pro Tour. And at first it is like in a classroom, like back then when you were a little bit younger, and everyone was like, oh, we're going on a trip, and it's gonna be an adventure, and it's gonna be so awesome, and it turned out to be awesome. Like you had a sunny day, you got ice cream, and everything was so happy, and you could do whatever you want, and it was like that. Like I was there and thought like, man, all these people are so happy, and there's so much energy flowing around. You could really feel like there was a place for everyone. There was like the artist LA, so people that are really interested in getting to know the artist could have a place. There is the feature table to watch like the pro players actually pursuing to the higher ranks, and also there was like people who cracked packs in between and was like, wow, we pulled something great, look at this. And it was like so amazing. And also like because we connected before the event with so much people, it was like, oh, okay, cool. Like we knew some people, and everything was so inviting and friendly. So that is a really big thing in Flesh and Blood community. I think that's reflected on this event.
Yeah, the Fab community, I talk about this a lot with a couple people in private, but I deal with just about every TCG community there is. I guess not Yu-Gi-Oh, but when you are trading, and I have other things to say about the Fab community sometimes, but when you can tell the Fab community gets it, because whenever you're doing a trade, like the communication is so easy. Like when like it's so easy to finalize a trade in the Fab community or a sale. Like you share your reference page, they share their reference page, everybody sends their stuff. The communication's just kind of like, it takes like 15 minutes. And then other games, it's like 3.5 hours of like trying to value cards, and they don't have a reference page. And like the Fab community is so locked in. I love it. I think it's dealing with a great demographic. And so I can imagine, and I did experience this in Vegas, where everybody's just together and enjoying each other, and that energy in the air of people who just really love the game and really love the community and really love being a part of it. So that's fantastic. So yeah, man. So then you're able to, you did not play in any rounds, but you were able to watch the game play and shoot some videos. And what was the kind of attitude like in the metas and that kind of thing? Was there, I just wanted to, I know like the online conversation, but in the person conversation, what were the dialogues going on about the decks and all that kind of stuff? I know there's been a million videos about it, so we don't have to get back into too much detail, but
yeah. So the special thing about that was like the event kind of was like the second feeling I have about the Pro Tour is bridging a gap between all the different nations. So for the Pro Tour New Jersey, it was actually the first time that so much people from all around the world came together to play in the Flesh and Blood. And therefore also like people we met beforehand at the ProQuest here in Europe were also there. Good friends now, like Pedro Canelli, Chris, the national champion of France, also Matthias Hittel, Christian Haug, Aurélie, everything was there that we met before, and they could connect to the international community and also like compete with each other. So of course, like I knew some deck choices beforehand, but I was really curious on to see what all the different nations bring to the table and if they have different views on the matter. And it was totally like that. Like we met with Asnopass also to produce a video that is leading up from the ProQuest story that we have on Fabled Academy. And that will all be about coming together, connect as a Flesh and Blood family, but also compete against each other and bring the game to the next level, which at this tournament totally like 100% it was like this. And we saw it like they played Kano, like nobody was expecting that, and it blew everything off. And then just these Europeans came and took everything in the end. It was such a great energy on the competition side. And I talked to so much players in between, because also I was one of a few people who could like actually between the rounds, but not in between the rounds, but actually when they were playing, going into the tables and film very closely to some of the players, which I really appreciate. All the players being so kindly in me doing that and letting me that close to each other when they were playing. But I saw all the mirrors, everything, man. Chain, Lexi, like and the Lexi player. We have an interview coming up with her too. So it was a big variety, and it also reflected in when the top 8 players were on the last day preparing for their matches, because we actually did like a hero shot with them, like wrestlers coming in the arena and stuff like that. And the Channel Fireball team set up like the banners of the different heroes in the background, and they didn't even have every banner of every hero there because it was so much variety in the finals.
Awesome. Yeah, that's super cool. I saw that photo. I remember being like, man, that's like so cool how different the meta was. And I loved the top 8. It really showed that like they figured out, the banner restricted announcement really honed in the meta and really allowed that tournament to be good. I like that they did it earlier. And there was a lot of pushback from the community about waiting until 5 or 6 or whatever 10 days I think it was before the event, and then they pushed it out early. And I think that was really cool that they listened to the community about that, and it definitely solved that gameplay side. Okay, I also know that you don't just play and shoot videos, but you like to do a little bit of buying, selling, and investing in Flesh and Blood. What are your overall thoughts on where things are currently, and if you feel like sharing some of your collection, it'd be cool to hear about it, but you don't have to. We don't care about comparing everyone. This is not to compare. It's just if he wants to share, he's allowed to share and talk about it. People like talking about stuff. So
yeah. So I think like the interesting part here is that I come from a Yu-Gi-Oh background in collecting. So I'm a Yu-Gi-Oh collector
So
at heart.
are you offended by my previous Yu-Gi-Oh comment?
No, totally not. Like I can totally understand like some of the points that are a little bit critical on the side for Yu-Gi-Oh. That was also like really refreshing for me coming to the Flesh and Blood community because I have seen other areas. But I love Yu-Gi-Oh, of course, like I did in my childhood. But for collecting, it was like
Oh man, your
I was
childhood was
training.
Yu-Gi-Oh instead of Pokemon, wasn't it?
Yeah, man, I have a little bit
Sorry.
of Pokemon,
I'm
but
sorry. Sad childhood.
Yeah. It was also a battle between these two always. Yeah, that's for sure.
I'm sorry. Continue. I just had to
so-
take a dig on Yu-Gi-Oh. I get comments all the time on my channel asking why I don't cover Yu-Gi-Oh, and I don't think you'll ever see me cover Yu-Gi-Oh. It's just not.
Yeah.
It's just not something I like.
So
and I don't like
this will
covering
be a rare
stuff.
moment for everybody. But I think
Maybe someday you and I could do a video about Yu-Gi-Oh, and you could tell me why I'm
totally.
wrong. That'd be
Yeah,
fun.
we can do that. I think like Yu-Gi-Oh is for me like the one part that is me. Yu-Gi-Oh lets me transition into Flesh and Blood in a way that I really appreciate, because as I was younger, I collected some of the rarer cards, and now I was able to actually sell these cards and make a collection in Flesh and Blood. But as I was starting collecting in Flesh and Blood, I realized like, okay, I love the cards for sure. I love the cold for the rarities and the sets and the artwork and everything. But I also love to show that in a cinematic way. So not only the collecting side, but actually the players, the events, and how you can find out about the game. So I sold a lot of my collection lately to make sure I can produce these kind of videos you see like with Pablo in the future too. And that's why I also sold like one of my bigger collection parts actually a few days ago, which was like a PSA 10 full Exodia set, first edition one. So that was quite a big thing for me to decide. But I think it was totally worth it, even though the market is pretty much down compared to half a year ago or 1 year ago.
Yeah. It's I think people don't always fully realize how much of a time commitment. I know I'm patting myself on the back, but I'm doing it to share your side of this too, like how much of a time and energy and resource commitment creating content is. The cameras that you have to buy to make it so it's not blurry, and the lighting doesn't just happen like this. This is that's a
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's it.
That's a $120 light that just gives a little different shadow to the background. I think as a content creator, it's this constant battle of, I want to have these cards, but $1,000 could really make the content better. And I've always said that my number one investment in Flesh and Blood is in the YouTube channel. And I think that's a great investment. And I want to just echo that to you, that I think that's it gives you a different side of the game that nobody else really gets to enjoy. And so I think it's just really, that's really fair. I wish, like, I don't know if there's, I guess leave in the comment section if you're interested in that stuff, but it'd be super fun just to do like a podcast with just talking about creating content for a TCG. I don't know.
That's awesome.
I don't know if anybody would listen. I just want to talk about it.
I know, like on Twitter, I saw a lot of posts like going in this direction, because so much people are interested in content creation in Flesh and Blood. And it's not only like people with a filmmaking background, but also people who just enjoy talking about it and setting up a camera, just like, okay, I throw it there, record and upload. And that's why I also really looked forward to the Pro Tour New Jersey, because I watched a lot of content. I watch a lot of content creators from all around the world. And I was so interested in getting to know everybody, and also like bring the style with my videos to them, so I can have some of them in my videos in a cinematic way that they are not able to do themselves.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy to show in the future like what has turned out to.
Yeah, that's fantastic, man. So all right, let's talk final thoughts on Pro Tour, and then let's transition to like Europe stuff, because there's a lot of content about Pro Tour. I'm
Yeah.
more curious about Europe and the world of, I guess, the continent of Europe. Continent? I'm looking horrible right now. The continent of Europe in talking about Flesh and Blood there. But final thoughts on Pro Tour.
Yeah, so I think like the bigger thing about that is bridging the community all around the world, and now we are making a bridge from New Jersey Pro Tour over in a couple of months to France Pro Tour in Lille, where everybody will meet up for a second time and have a rematch on what happened in New Jersey. So it will be really interesting to see like what all the players bring there and what we will see, because now it is like, hey, we had kind of the American side. We will take the Pro Tour, man. Let's do this. And big shout out to Arsenal Purse, to Brand and Hayden, who really took an effort to be on my video. And I'm really proud to show this in the future because they are talking about that in depth. And now Europe took it, and we will see in France what it will be like.
We gotta go back and get it. USA has to go back and get it. What are we doing? We didn't even, it wasn't even the finals, right? USA wasn't even there.
No, that's right. Like we were in the finals. So actually Florin was with so much players that I know closely, and I'm really happy that some connections there could be made. So it was just a blast, like really.
And then we'll get together for Worlds whenever that is.
Man.
And that will be the real, like these are like the Pro Tours are like the warm-up league for the World Championship.
Yeah.
So you got, USA, we lost the the spring, do you know what spring training is? I bet there's a lot of United States viewers who don't even know what spring training is.
No, I don't know either.
It's like in baseball, the early, like before the regular season. It's like
okay, yeah.
So Pro Tour was like the preseason game. It doesn't even matter. What really matters is the Worlds. So we're coming for you guys in Worlds.
Yeah.
All right, let's hop into Europe. So help me understand Europe. You've got all these different countries that are about the size of states. How does the European local game store ecosystem work? Is it is there maybe you can answer this, maybe you can't. Is it one distributor for all of like Europe, or is there individual things for different countries? And what does it look like for a new store to hop in and take on Flesh and Blood? Or what has your experience working with local game stores been?
Yeah, so on my journey with the YouTube channel, I had the chance of actually talking to a couple of different stores. So smaller ones, really independent ones who are just starting out and trying to make it on the side. But I will also talk in the future in more depth with bigger stores who are big into Magic or Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh! And now adding Flesh and Blood into the portfolio. And what I've heard was like different opinions. So we have a local game store here, for example, not in Paderborn, which is the city called where I live, but in a city nearby, Bielefeld. And we can just drive there, buy packs, everything is there. Where we have Crucible of War Unlimited, we have Tales of Aria First Edition, everything is there.
Wait, do you guys have the History Pack Volume 1 Black Border cards yet?
Not yet. Like that will be a big thing for the local communities here in Europe for sure.
Yeah. Alex is going to send me a couple boxes to open on the channel.
We see on that one, yeah.
I'll just live stream you opening it on my channel.
Man, we will do something with that for sure.
Continue. Sorry, I was just making jokes. Continue.
So, the community is growing. Like that is something for sure that I can say about the local community, not only the German ones, but also the French community, for example. Because as I entered Flesh and Blood in last October, now the number of players in the Discord, for example, is much higher than on last October. So the interest is rising. New players are coming in. And also new stores are making open, but I think America and Europe is a really different place to actually drive in the market.
So in the United States, and there's gonna be a lot of disagreeing about this in the comments, but I would say for the majority of American consumers, and I know if you are in the rural areas, this is not true, but for the majority of consumers, there is a local game store within 20 miles of just about everybody. Again, there are some rural areas that have to drive an hour and a half, that kind of thing. But for the majority, in some towns, like even in my town, over a 45-mile span, there's probably 3 or 4 or 5 local game stores. How does that compare to Europe? For you, in a 20-mile radius of you, how many local game stores could you go to? Not just Flesh and Blood. I'm just in general.
Yeah. So in general, I think we have like 3 in that radius here. So that's awesome. Something really good, but not in every area. So I talked to some of the players here in Germany who don't have a local game store really nearby, but they are buying cards online or from the nearest shop by. So it's a really different like the English one. It's really different.
Just use the German one.
Yeah, so it compares to what location you are in, I guess.
Yeah. So does that translate over to like different hobby stores or like I know like in the United States something that's become quite popular and I think will continue to become more popular is like taverns and pubs that host events. I know of a local game store in North Carolina maybe that they are a bar that is also a local game store. Like they have Magic tournaments and I don't know if they're sanctioned, but they host events and they have product and they are a bar that you can also go and play cards in. I think that's really cool. Do you think something like that, do you think Europe moves that way? Because I really feel like United States is moving more towards a combination LGS model where it's like the LGS plus or a bar plus or a food place plus an LGS. Do you think that the European model is moving more towards like large LGS stores?
So I had a chance of visiting really different stores at the last ProQuest season, at ProQuest season 1. For example, in Paris, we were at a really big store, Magic Play-In. So they had like 2 floors, which you actually could buy really much product, really different products. That's cool. Also at the second floor, you could like you had like a kitchen where really good food was served. You had like tables all over the place. So as the ProQuest was happening, another area was reserved for another game. But then on the other side, you have like smaller stores where you just can have some drinks and have like one table there. But I actually have managed to find some of that stores you mentioned. So a combination of actually like eating out or having a beer, but then playing some games. That's really great.
I wonder if that originated more in the European side and then like the idea of that got brought over to the United States. It seems like a more European thing to me. And I like it. I want to do it for my local store. That's like the stretch goal for me with my stores, to like have like a really cool like barcade type thing that also hosts events. Maybe some Laser Quest in the back. I don't know. I just think about it sometimes.
Yeah, so at the weekend, as I sold the Exodia, the seller and we talked about opening a store and what you need to make sure of, because like I'm not a store owner, but he is actually selling cards and buying cards, but he's only doing it from home, so he doesn't have a store. But we talked about, okay, how would you do it when you open a store? And we were reflecting on the experiences with different places we visited. So we were both on the same line. So you need to make sure it is like well served with food and people not only can play, but they can enjoy the place in a different way.
Yeah, that's such a hard task though, because it's so much more difficult. Your overhead costs goes way up whenever you're that's like, right. Oh, we're gonna have a kitchen. Oh, we're gonna have a chef. So now we're a restaurant. Okay, and then you have like I don't know what it's like for food laws and stuff like that in Europe, but
that's the thing.
So anyway, cool. So it seems like things are growing, and then you guys have the Pro Tour Lily, which is in France. What's the drive or flight from Germany to France?
So yeah, at the first ProQuest season, we were traveling with car to Paris, which took us about 8 hours.
Okay.
But with plane, actually, I didn't look up like how much time it consumes to fly over. But for example, we had the calling in Krakow a few months ago, and the flight over to Krakow would have been only 1.5 hours, so not that big of a deal. So Europe, I think, has an advantage in terms of how fast you can travel to everywhere, but
no trains. I thought
we have that too.
I was thinking of trains as like a European thing that people use.
No.
The United States, nobody uses trains that I know of. I don't know anybody who's ever been on a train in the United States. That's a little bit of an exaggeration, but like when I went to Europe, when I went to Italy, we did everything. We went everywhere on train. And so I don't know. Seems cool.
In Paris, so locally we do that a lot. Yeah.
What do you think the size of Pro Tour Lily is going to be? So I think Pro Tour New Jersey was like 11 or 1200. What do you think the European Pro Tour looks like?
I think like we will have like 1,500 people at the Pro Tour in Lille.
Wow.
So at least I imagine it like that. We will see if it actually turns out. But I hope that this can top like a little bit over the New Jersey numbers.
Well, you guys beat us in our Pro Tour, so I can't imagine that you want to beat us in the numbers of people attending your Pro Tour. It kind of makes sense to me.
It needs to be like you took like the calling, right? So Juanji won the calling here in Krakow. Then we flew over and took the title, and now you must come and take the next title.
Yeah. Now all the European YouTube channels just need to have more subscribers than the American ones. And, you know, I guess your dollar the European coins. The euro, or did we get rid of euros? I can never keep up.
That's right.
Those need to be worth more than $1, and you know, just you guys can win. You won Flesh and Blood, you win everything else. That's the way it works. Oh man. All right, well, tell me a few other things that you're excited about for Flesh and Blood, and then let's let the people go over to your YouTube channel and view the real content over there.
Yeah, so what I'm really excited about is like seeing now in about 1 week the pre-release Uprising. I'm really stoked to travel to Madrid there and see what the next set is like, what actually the people are reacting to the new cards, because quite a few changes are made in the set. But
you get a spoiler?
Yeah, that's right.
Nice.
It's right there.
Nice.
Yeah.
So everybody can go watch the spoiler over at Fabled Academy.
Yeah,
have you seen it? Does it look cool? I didn't get one, so I don't know if it looks cool or not. Are you excited for it? Give us a little teaser.
I'm really excited. Yes.
Don't tell us anything about it, but be like on a scale of 1 to 13, like where does it fit?
I think like it's a really specific card. Okay. So it is for a specific class, and it will be played actually. So that is something I can tell you. It's not like a common or rare. It's actually a little much higher rarity card.
Oh, it's like a majestic or a legendary.
Something like that, right?
Yeah. You deserve a legendary. If they didn't give you a legendary, I'm going to create a veto.
Oh, really?
It wouldn't mean anything. I don't even get a spoiler card. So, you deserve a legendary. You deserve the Fable. They should just spoil the Fable. It always gets spoiled anyway. They should just give it to somebody. You're making great content. Give it to you. That's great. Cool. So Uprising, I'm super. I think Uprising is gonna be really good. I think the dragon thing really gets people excited. So it's gonna be really good. I hope that the allocation and supply issues are honed in. So that people can stop complaining about it. I don't know why people complain about it, but like stores being able to get the product they need for their locals, I think will be a huge win. But thoughts on Fab 2.0? Maybe we hit that.
So I think like that is something I'm really excited about, seeing like what is coming now when we emerge in new play styles. And also like, yeah, I mean that's a big topic on your channel always, like PvE multiplayer games. That is a really big thing, and I'm really stoked to see what Legend Story Studios will come up with in that area, because I think like people see only the short side of the game when they are talking about the opinion, but when we see like cards like Silver Palms or cards that actually can be abused later down the line in 1 or 2 years, I think it will be really interesting to see like not only how the game is like, but also what kind of players are drawn to the game then, because now Flesh and Blood comes from other TCGs mostly, but we also see like new players who never played a TCG before. I actually met one in Paris, Armin, who won the Pro Quest there, and it's his first TCG ever.
Wow.
And I think like also board games, Dungeons and Dragons, that is a really big thing. And I'm really stoked to talk to the people in 1 year that will enter and play the new Flesh and Blood.
Yeah, I think the addition of casual stuff, and I hope they continue to do stuff. I would love to see a little bit of support in the future for Commoner. I know they're working on that. I would love to see some the PvE stuff really hone in locally on for stores, where it really gives them a reason to host a an event or something like that, other than a competitive armory. I hear all the time, I don't want to go to my armory anymore because everyone's fighting to get the promos. Everyone's they're spiking it. They're all tryhards and whatever. And to tone down the competitive level and go into like hey, let's just have some fun. Like if it's not fun, it's not worth doing. If it's not fun, it's not even like, it's a game. It's supposed to be a game. Games are supposed to be fun. They can be competitive, but they're also supposed to be fun. There's supposed to be a fun side of it. So I'm excited for that. I don't think it'll be part of Uprising, but for next year, whenever we do get PvE and that kind of thing.
Man, you mentioned a big thing. Like we can draw a line there back to the Proto 2, because I talked to James White and Chris Pierce about this too, because they actually had like this combination of different tournaments running at the same time. So you had the Proto, you had the Calling, you had the side events, but you also had a Commoner, a really big Commoner tournament, which actually like 200 people attended at. And if you think about that, like 200 people coming to the table and only playing with Commoner is like a really big thing. And that shows like exactly what you just said. People are so stoked about just playing and having fun with this. And actually, when you see it at a smaller size, so when a tournament locally will be organized, it is also a thing you can incorporate. So not only running like one tournament, but maybe having a casual tournament on the side, which people normally wouldn't join the competitive side.
Yeah, that's a really good idea. And I think as the volume of the game gets bigger, that becomes more and more likely. You see it with Magic. This weekend I'm hosting a Magic pre-release. I'm hosting a Friday Night Magic. I'm hosting a Commander, and I'm hosting a what's it called? A Modern tournament. And I had somebody call in who wants to play Pauper. And I think in the future, you'll start seeing people call in and say, hey, can we host a Commoner tournament? Hey, can we host a maybe Ultimate Pit Fight, but hey, can we do the PvE and that kind of thing? And that's why I really want to see Flesh and Blood go. Not just this, the only thing we care about is the super competitive, but getting people together for the fun side of it and enjoying and just battling back and forth. And I think it's gonna get there. I think with this new additional of a focus on the casual, which we haven't had, and I think that's a fair critique of LSS. We haven't had a focus on the casual side of the game until now, and I think leaning into that is going to be really, really good for the community. I think. Yeah,
for sure, totally.
But cool, man. Well, hey, this has been an absolute pleasure. I'm sure this is not the last time you will be on the channel. I would love to continue to do some back and forth together. And I don't think I'll be able to get to Europe. I wasn't able to get to United States for the Pro Tour, but maybe for Worlds we can connect and figure out some time to get together in the Flesh and Blood and do some content together. It'd be really fun.
It would be an honor.
Yeah, and now it'll be my honor. That's whose honor it'll be my honor. And until then, I think it'll be really fun to maybe just continue to do some back and forth and just talking about all TCGs and talking about Flesh and Blood and the difference between the two countries. I think is really, really cool. So Alex, thank you so much. We got a giveaway. That's you guys can get a content creator promo now on my channel. Thanks to Alex at Fabled Academy. But here's how this is going to work. So Alex has given this to a viewer, but we want people to go to his channel. That's the idea here. Alex, I really believe, is putting together the best and most honed Flesh and Blood content. And your subscriber count is growing, but it needs to be, you need to go to his channel. So leave a comment in this video. What do you want him to comment in this video?
Yeah, I think the most interesting part for me is knowing like if they are looking forward to more content and which topics they would like us to have on it.
What topic on this video, leave what topic you want Alex and I to talk about next time we chat. And then on Alex's video, which I'll link, we'll do, you want to do the Pro Tour New Jersey first ever Pro Tour victory one?
Yeah, I think like watching the video with the champion Pablo Pintor, cheers to you, Pablo, is a really big thing. Yeah.
All right, so go watch that one. And what do you want them to comment over there?
Yeah, I think like when we do videos like this in the future, what do you want us to cover there? Like, is this style of videos like everything you imagined, or is there anything else you want us to dive deeper in?
Yeah. And then over there, say, good job, Pablo, from Kitchen Table TCG. From whatever. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. We appreciate you. Make sure you hit subscribe and like on both of our channels. And Alex, man, it's always a pleasure when we get to chat. I'm sorry that your childhood was riddled with Yu-Gi-Oh! And not Pokemon.
Man, you never imagined what this childhood with Yu-Gi-Oh! Was like.
I can't imagine how you got through that, but you seem to have come out great on the other side. So that's fantastic. Dude, real talk. Good work on the channel. It's been fantastic. And LSS should continually be contacting you about doing videos for their events and pushing stuff on their channel. That would be, I think, a really smart thing for them to do. So good work. And I'm proud to know you, buddy.
Man, the honor is on my side. I'm really happy we got the time today, because like everything with the time shift, sometimes it's really difficult, but I'm happy we made it, man. Yeah.
It's just nice to know that in 6 hours I'll still be here. Like I got another 6 hours at least. I make the same time zone jokes on my channel all the time. I think they're hilarious. My jokes aren't funny, but they're free. They're free. What do you got? You didn't pay here. They're free content. So anyway, remember to be kind to the people around you, everyone. Alex, thanks so much for being here, and we will talk to you all next video.
Thank you so much for having me.